We got Christine who's going to come on in another minute here. So again, she's going to be talking about some amazing things to become your best self, declutter your life, talking about NLP, her journey, and oh my gosh, it's going to be epic. Before we dive into that, I want to share about the sponsor message. If you're an entrepreneur or a high achiever, you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lacking clarity, you want to reignite your self-belief in your power so you can succeed like never before, the 21-day challenge will help you get crystal clear on your long-term goals, break them down into bite-sized steps, and attack them every single day for 21 days as you have daily accountability and support from me so you can become your greatest possible self. That's the 21-day challenge. If you want to find out more, send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com, or find me on Facebook and message me there. Let me know you're ready for your 21-day challenge. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. Victoria Powell's out in the audience. What is up? Welcome, welcome. The iTunes review of the week this week is Gina Pino. And Gina says, totally inspired. Feeling so empowered every time I listen to this podcast. Binge listening all weekend. Thanks, Chris, for sharing your brilliance. Your genuine caring and enthusiasm is infectious, and it lifts me up each and every episode. You and becoming your greatest possible self is a gift. Thanks so much, Gina. I appreciate the feedback and the review. And if you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store, and you can give us a review there. Or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on Facebook. Now, Christine's going to come on in just another minute here. I'm going to introduce her. Before we get to there, though, make sure you have a pen and paper handy. Get ready to take notes because the wisdom that she is going to share with you has the potential to change your life. If you let it, if you are open, if you are ready to receive, definitely type in the comments open right now. If you're listening live, if you're watching this on the replay, type in open. Okay, this is super empowering to show the universe, to say to the universe, I want the info, I want the goods, I want the gold. Give it to me, because Christine is about to give it to you in an amazing conversation. So let's introduce her, and then we'll bring her on the screen. Good or good. Christine is an ultra busy mom to 5, NLP practitioner, mindset coach, and decluttering queen. Through her 3-step process, she helps busy ladies swap stress, overwhelm, and frustration for calm, creativity, and joy, resulting in freedom, lifestyles, and so much happiness. Christine, are you ready to rock this?
Yes, I'm ready to rock.
Boom! We're ready to rock. We are live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Christine, thank you so much for coming on today to share your wisdom and have a lot of fun and just deliver a ton of value with our audience, to become our greatest possible selves. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. So
You're welcome.
Excited. Absolutely love your energy, Chris.
Thank you. We're going to dive deep into some great energy and great wisdom. So we're going to start right off by the question of the day, which today is fight, love, or both. And Christine, I came up with this concept from, do we have to fight for our dreams? Do we have to fight our way there? Do we have to survive? Or do we love? Is it fun? Is it ease? Is it flow? Or is it both? And I'd love to hear from your perspective how this has shown up for you.
I think it's a combination of both. Okay. But for me, I think it has to always come from a place of love.
Yeah.
Like when you're really aligned with whatever you're doing. For example, in business, when you're really aligned and you're doing something that really lights you up, which really gets you excited and it gets you motivated and really helps other people, then that's when the flow comes in. And that's when things, build, and they build beautifully. But you've got to have that little bit of fight too. Yeah. Because whenever you're growing and changing and expanding, there's fears that pop in and there's obstacles that come. Yeah. You've got to have that fight and that drive to get over those and then to just keep going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love how you say you start with that foundation of love. That's so important that we start with that place, because from there, all of our intentions will lead the way. I believe as a source, a guiding source for us, we're guided by love. We're guided by, hey, we want to be connected. We want to make a difference. We want the world to be a better place. So it sounds like that's a part of your philosophy as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I just think when you come from a place of love, things flow nicely for you and opportunities pop up for you and you start connecting with the right people and, getting to know people who lift you up as well, and making friends rather than just connections.
Yeah.
And when you come from that place, it just feels nice.
Yeah. Why do you think more opportunities why do you think more opportunities pop up when you come from a place of love?
I think because you're coming from that genuine nice place, a place of compassion, and a place of compassion, and also, something you're really passionate about. It, 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 People are drawn to you.
Yeah.
These opportunities come up for you because people then start connecting with you. They see what you're doing, and because it's genuine, people want that too. And people want to speak to happy, genuine, loving people. They don't want to speak to someone who's like grumpy and, just fighting all the time or whatever.
Right.
So that's why the opportunities come to you.
Wow, that's powerful, Christine. I love this. This is so powerful. If you guys are loving this, I want you to type in opportunity in the comments right now on Facebook, because this is gold. So, Christine, tell us a little bit more about what you stand for and what your clients come to you for. I mentioned it a little bit in the intro, but in your own words, why don't you share that?
Okay. Yes, will do. So predominantly what I'm all about is finding the best you, becoming the best you, living your dreams, and living in a happy place. And I think that's what life is for. It's life is a gift, and we need to grab it with both hands. We need to be the person we want to be, show up as we want to show up, and be happy. And the way I help people do that is I help them move things like stress and overwhelm and, these endless to-do lists that we give ourselves each day. I help people shift that out of the way, declutter their lives, really decide what it is they want to be and what they want to do, and then help them to become that person.
Yeah. I love it. So it's like there's blocks and barriers, clutter, whether it's physical clutter or mental clutter, limiting beliefs, different things like that stop people from getting to their destination, from having the dream life, having the dream house, the peaceful, serene environment, fulfillment, happiness, whatever that is for people that they're searching and seeking for. There's a lot of stuff that gets cluttered in the way. And so you really empower people to get rid of that stuff so that they can stand in their power and create their life and create the happiness and fulfillment they desire.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Absolutely it.
Awesome.
And, our physical world and our mental world, they're completely interlinked. So our inner world, our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, they then create our outer world. So if you've got a lot of physical clutter in your life, you have also got a lot of stress. And you tend to have kind of chaotic thoughts, or you tend to have a feeling of overwhelm or stuck because there's just so much around you, but then so much to do, so much to think about, so much to focus on. So it's all interlinked. And clutter really is anything that just doesn't serve you. So whether it's in your physical space, or whether it's those negative thought patterns that you have, or stuck emotions or energy blocks, that's the stuff you need to get rid of. That's what you need to shift. And that's what I help people do.
Wow. So this is interesting, because I know I was talking to you in the pre-interview. You were talking about how, like, decluttering, right? That was like a new focus for NLP and decluttering and personal transformation. That was a really unique direction, and I love it. And I think it's helping so many people. So I really love it. I want to go back into the journey and talk about how you chose this direction, or how it chose you, how it found you, so to speak. Let's go back into the journey and talk about some of those challenging experiences and moments that gave you the wisdom about who you are, what you stand for, and how you became your greatest possible self today.
Okay. So if we talk about the NLP and the mindset work that I do first, so I discovered that really, really young. I think I was about sort of 18, 19. I was working in a sales job, and we had some coaching, and it was really like a light bulb moment for me. I was like, oh, I love this. And it was all NLP based. So like straight away I started learning more and more about it. And then kind of like life got in the way, and I kind of like forgot about it really. Didn't continue implementing it, and then fast forward, like, you know, quite a few years later, I was pregnant with my 5th child, and I was feeling really, you know, really rotten one day. I used to put a lot of pressure on myself to do everything, and that wasn't healthy.
Right.
And you know, for me, I just felt like constantly stressed. Like I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have this to-do list running through my head, and it'd be like, right, do this, do this, do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And I wasn't really kind of enjoying the moment. I was just kind of on this treadmill. And there was this one particular day, and I remember it crystal clear. It was an absolute beautiful day. That I was feeling really, really rotten. And I actually spent the whole kind of day in bed that day. And I was so emotional, so flat. And this advert for NLP popped up on my phone again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. Straight away, I signed up to do like a refresher course. But because my confidence was so low, I didn't tell anyone. So it took me quite a while to say, right, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And actually, when I told people, they were like, oh my gosh, that's perfect for you. But at the time, I just didn't see it. So then I started my coaching journey again, and decluttering kept like popping up, kept just seeing it, didn't pay much attention to it. And then I decided to run a decluttering challenge in my Facebook group.
Yeah.
And the group just lit up for that week. It
Yeah.
was amazing. Everyone was like getting on board, posting pictures, before and after pictures, you know, saying how good they felt after they'd got rid of things. And I was like, that's it. That's what we need to be doing with our lives. We need to be getting rid of the stuff that holds us down and keeps us stuck, in order to really kind of see, you know, what it is we want. And so we can enjoy ourselves as well, because no one wants to get up to, you know, clutter everywhere and mess. No one wants to come home to that either. So making that the first sort of call and doing that fast just frees you up, makes you feel amazing.
Wow.
And then it really kind of opens you up.
In the beginning, what do you think was causing your clutter in your life, and how did you go about like really getting it organized?
We're getting it organised, and decluttering is a process. So it is one that I think myself and, you know, alongside my clients as well, and my family, we're kind of going through that process. So I wouldn't say everything's perfect,
right?
But I think, you know, at the moment, it's just really about understanding what it is we really appreciate, what it is that, you know, we enjoy having around us, what it is that we've got that, you know, we're not using, we're just looking at every day, or dusting every day, or tidying up. And what I found is that the more we do it, and as a family as well, the more we are, you know, connecting, enjoying each other, you know, doing things like sitting down, we've got more time. The children are more creative as well. I've definitely found that when they've got less, they make things up, and that's just beautiful to see. Wow. So moving forward has been amazing. It really has. It's uplifting.
Was it difficult for you to invite your family into the conversation of decluttering and getting started on that journey?
No, because we didn't have a conversation. No, I think it's more about, as I was doing it, they're hopping on board.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Kaylee, she decluttered her wardrobe while I was out the other day. I come home and she was like, look at this, and she had it all neat, and all her shoes were like at the bottom. And she was just so happy with that. And now my husband keeps saying he's very jealous of my wardrobe. So I think leading by example in this case has worked. Yeah,
I love it. So, you know, you mentioned it's about having these things around us that we really like and enjoy. How did you get clear on the things that you did want to have around you so that you could design your environment intentionally to keep the things that you enjoy and want around you?
It was about how things made me feel, and also understanding like why I was holding on to some of these things. I had I'm trying to remember how many, but I had a lot of cookbooks.
Yeah.
And they're all cookbooks that I used and were bought for me before I changed to a vegan diet. So I wasn't using these cookbooks anymore, but I was keeping them. So it was about looking at them and thinking, well, actually, I'm not going to use them. So it's fine, they can go now. That's not a problem.
Right.
So it's about kind of, understanding that you don't have to keep things if you don't want to.
Right.
But then looking at the things that you are keeping and, are they things that make you happy? Are they things you use day to day? Or are they things that you're keeping just in case?
So we look at these things like it's almost just we have to go through this process of inventorying. Like we'll set aside like one room, right? We'll start with a room that we want to start decluttering, and we'll say, okay, so I'm gonna start in this corner of the room, and I'm just gonna go through things, and I'm gonna go in like a counterclockwise direction or clockwise direction or whatever it might be, and then we just start looking at those things and saying like, hey, is this something that brings me joy? Or is it something, that when's the next time I'm going to use it? When's the last time I've used it? And okay, does it make sense to keep holding on to it? Or is it just like a just in case kind of thing? And if it's a just in case kind of thing, then we get to throw it away, donate it, sell it, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can start as small as you like as well. Just for me, I tend to have like a pile of papers that stack up, school letters, junk mail, that sort of thing. So just getting that pile and sifting through that and getting rid of the junk, that could be like your first step, for example. And I think as well, we instinctively know what's clutter, what we don't need. So it's really listening to ourselves, because if we get too bogged down in the details, or if we set the challenge too big, we then start to feel that overwhelm again. So starting, like you said, small, absolutely, and then just going with your gut instinct. And as you declutter, the great thing is you notice the difference as you're moving along, which then inspires you. So it's about starting small and then keeping it consistent. Even if it's like 10 minutes a day, you'll feel the difference.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to say, like, how can we make sure that we do this decluttering more consistently and we make progress on it versus, hey, I'm going to start it, do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then, 5 weeks go by and they don't even do any more. And it's like, okay, well, that didn't really do much. We have to be consistent with it. How do you recommend we be more consistent and stay to a schedule with it?
Pick what's best for you.
Okay.
So if you've got an ultra busy week and then you've got a couple of days at the weekend and you can put like half a day aside each week, do it that way. If you can do 10 minutes every single day, do it that way. If you can do it daily, I'd say that's best, because then you build the momentum up and it becomes a habit, and you start to really appreciate your surroundings as well. And I'd also say start with your bedroom if you can, because we tend to look at kind of the places in our house that our visitors and guests come into, and our children's friends come and see, and we tend to focus our attention on that. So our bedroom tends to be our last place that we declutter and we make beautiful, but it's our sacred space. It's our sanctuary. It's where we can go and reflect. It's where we can go and have a breather if we need to, and it's a place where we really connect with ourselves, and we sleep there as well. It's a very important room for us, and becoming our best self, we need to feel that. So if you can start in your bedroom, that is going to work wonders.
Awesome. I love it, Christine. And this is gold. I want to find out a little bit more about the NLP side of things and how we can use more of that in a minute. And we've reached our first GPS game of the hour. So everyone who's listening or watching right now, share this episode, share this Facebook Live, and tag 3 people. And if you do, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a free self-help book today. And you make sure you register by going to beyourgps.com/book contest. So let's talk about this NLP and how that's really made a difference for you in decluttering and empowering these, people around you who are stressed out, overwhelmed. They got a bunch of stuff going on in their life. How did that really help? How did you pair that up to make a difference in these people's lives?
Okay, so what we tend to do is we start off with decluttering, And as we're decluttering, what we also do is then we start implementing small steps.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we do is we start by decluttering our mind. And a really great way to do this when it comes to thinking about all your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, right, is to get it all out. Because our mind is like, if you say to your mind, right, there's no limits here, let's just think about all the things we want to do. Because in life, there really is no limitations. But when you say that to your mind, it goes crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Africa, and I want to, walk the highest mountain in the world. And I also want to go and volunteer in a hospital, and I want to homeschool my children, and I want to have this massive business. It just goes mental.
I love it.
So what we do is, one of the exercises is we declutter all that out, and we do it by an exercise called free writing. Yeah. So all you need to do is get a piece of paper, right at the top, because there's no limits, I'm going to, and then just start writing. And don't even think about presentation. Don't even think about spelling. Don't worry about how it looks, because none of that matters. All you need to do is get everything down on paper. You need to declutter all of that stuff out of your mind. Wow. And then once you've got that, you have, you've cleared your mind, and then you can use that to really kind of think about, okay, so what is it I really want to, do now, or, what am I going to set my goal for the next year? Yeah. And it then puts you in a really, really good place, because not only have you started decluttering your space, so you've got better energy and you've got better focus, but you've then started decluttering your mind, and you can then really start connecting with exactly what it is you want to do and the person that you absolutely want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because there is no limits. There are no limits. I'm going to blank, and you just free write, and you let that come out. I love that. What a great prompt, to set our mind up. Hey, there's no limits. Because there's no limits, what am I creating? It's really powerful. Another thing that I recommend our clients do is at the beginning of every year to write out 101 things to be, do, and have in 2019 or whatever the year is, right? And it's like you challenge yourself to think of 100+ things, and a lot of people are like, how am I going to think of all these different things? But when you challenge yourself and tax your mind, so to speak, to do that, to dig deep, it really gets that, I don't want to say clutter, but the depths, the stuff that was swept under the rug kind of thing, you're able to pull it out and get it out onto a piece of paper, so it's no longer hidden, and it's you can see it, and you can put it up on your wall, and you can think about it more often. It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, because so many things come up, don't they? That things that you thought of, maybe when you were a child, or in your teens, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that when I'm older, and then you've forgotten about it because life happened. So yeah, that's awesome. That's just all going to come up.
Yeah, and it challenges you to be worthy of it too, because you're like, well, if I really had the if I could get anything I want, what would I create? And I think that's super, super powerful. So you mentioned that you ran this exercise, so to speak, with your group of moms who went through this. Tell us a little bit more about what their experience was, and what that process was like, sharing it with them, the kind of breakthroughs that they had. Anything else that you want to share about them going through this?
Yeah. Okay. So one thing we found is also, as you declutter, and you start to get more ideas, more creativity, because you've got that, that space and that energy. Yeah. So from there, getting it all out, what most people found was kind of although there's a lot there, and it seems a lot, and it's messy because you've just scrawled, it's really kind of uplifting. And it's like, wow, okay. Yeah. And it puts you in such a good spot. Yeah. And then, looking at it, normally we take some time with it afterwards, because generally after you've got all that stuff out, your subconscious is, still whirring at the back of your mind. Right. So generally, a couple of days down the line, you have this moment where you go, that's it. That is what I'm going to do. And that for me is the best part, when someone goes, yes, okay.
The clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So it's like just the act of decluttering helped these women to figure out, well, what's really important, like the aha, the shiny thing that they've been looking for, the key that is going to take them to where they want to go or help them accelerate their results, or whatever that is, that they were more easily able to receive that because their mind wasn't so busy. Because like a lot of that is being mindful, being present, right? And when you're present, then you open yourself up to receiving guidance and intuition, and like if you believe in God, then God's divine direction, or the universe, spirit, source, creator, whatever that is for you, like you get that direction, you get that guidance. So I think it's we open ourselves up to that when we declutter and clear our environment and our mind.
That's it. And also, we're not too busy to listen and hear it. Because sometimes we get an idea, but we're, busy running around doing a million things, or, off to go and pick someone up from some club, and then we've got a quick dinner, and then we've got, Bob down the road popping around for a cup of tea, and we miss these things. So when we decluttered and, we're in a good space, and, we're becoming really mindful, and we've got extra time as well, when these things pop into our minds and the intuition comes to us, we listen. And we have the space and we have the time to then take the action we need as well.
Yeah. I love it, Christine. It's so powerful. So as far as like being your best self, I know that's a big philosophy for you. It's super important for you as well. How do those two go hand in hand, the decluttering and the being your best self? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So for me, it's about decluttering and getting rid of all the negative stuff. Whether it's in my space, whether it's, a fear that I have, or whether it's a thought that I've noticed that keeps reoccurring for me that really isn't serving me, or whether it is, just not taking action, procrastination, whatever it is. Right. So the decluttering part is about removing all that stuff out of the way. And then it's about having the space to really decide what it is I want. How do I want to spend my time? Who do I want to spend my time with? What do I want to do more of? What lights me up? Deciding those things and deciding them for myself predominantly. And then becoming the person who does those things and the person who can then create, whatever it is I want to do.
Yeah, I love it. I hear shifting your identity is also a big part of it, right? Like who these people know themselves as, like what you want to achieve and accomplish. A lot of that takes getting clear on your identity and like what's important to you. So how would you say that your work has empowered women with their identity? What have you seen, or what do you say are some of the big benefits around their identity, their story about themselves, their story about their life? What have you seen shift around that?
It's empowering. Yeah. It's feeling that empowerment, and it's really kind of knowing that you can do anything you want, and you can become that person. Whatever person you've got in your mind, or whatever it is you want, you can actually do that. So by kind of like going through the process and taking those layers off and getting rid of that stuck feeling and those stuck emotions, and those really negative thought patterns that do hold you back, getting rid of those it's like a really light feeling. And to see people then like moving to flow and to really kind of own their lives, and it's just amazing. And do you know what the great thing is? That it just has such a brilliant knock-on effect, because when someone is in that place, when they are happy and they're being true to themselves, and even when that means boundaries, when they say no to some people and no to something, when they're in that space of being true to themselves, feeling fabulous, the people around them, they start to feel that too. And it's just wonderful.
I love it, Christine. So that's awesome. And I want to talk a little bit more about your group and how you've seen yourself grow creating your own Facebook group and becoming a leader with that, and also like decluttering your own life to be able to become visible, right? Like if things are cluttered in your life and they're in the way, they're blocking you from being seen, like from being fully expressed and knowing who you are. I want to dive into that in a second, talking about the group and how you've become more visible. And in the meantime, we're at the second game of the hour. So the first person who comments, you'll get entered into a drawing to win a free self-help book. And make sure you register at beyourgps.com/book contest. So Christine, let's talk about this group. How has it made a difference for you in stepping up in your leadership?
Oh, it's such a big difference.
Yeah.
So my group is it's called Life Designing Ladies. Mm-hmm. And originally I started it as Life Designing Mums. And then I had people message me and say, I'm not a mum, but I really like, your group and what you're doing at the moment. Can we hop in? So we changed it to Life Designing Ladies. And it's been brilliant, actually. Must admit, when I first started, it was, I was going to say it was ropey, but it wasn't. I was ropey. So I had, I guess, a fear of going live and talking about what I believe in. And so, like, the first time I ever did a live, oh my God, it was absolutely awful. It really was. I lost my words. And do you know what the worst thing was? It was about fear and overcoming your fear.
Yeah.
And my fear completely got in the way.
Oh my gosh.
So the biggest thing for me, though, the thing that flipped it was what I realised was my fear was getting in the way because I was making this all about me, and it's not about me. I want to share things with people and, give them hints and tips and different things that they can implement in their lives. And I want everyone to feel better, and I want everyone to, live in their perfect little bubble. But when I was going to do a live, I was just, focusing on me. Yeah. So by switching that focus to how can I share this information so people want to listen, or how can I inspire someone, or how can I help someone who's got up this morning and they're not feeling great, by making that my focus, the lives and the group changed. And people want to come and see and, chat to me on a live now. So yeah, I think that was the biggest shift for me was, stop focusing on me, focus on everybody else.
Yeah. What do you see possible now that you're focusing on other people? Like, how much of a difference can you make? What is your vision of the difference that you want to make, focusing on these other women and ladies and moms and, people who you can help declutter and through coaching? Tell us a little bit more about that vision.
Oh, okay. So it's huge. It's grown. I just want to help as many people as I can, because I know there's so many people who feel how I felt a few years ago, who feel overwhelmed with life, who feel like they can't make a change because they haven't got time to make a change, because, they're going from one thing to another, and they've got to tidy, and they've got to cook, and they've got to do this, and they've got to do that. So I just want to help anybody who is in that space. Yeah. Anybody who's feeling stuck, who's feeling stressed, who's feeling overwhelmed, I just want to be able to help them.
That's awesome. What do you think is the biggest thing that stops moms and ladies from being happy?
From being happy? That's a good question. I think it's very individual to all of us. All our journeys are really individual. I think a big thing is fear of judgment. And fear of judgment particularly for mums, like being judged as a mum, or thinking you're being judged as a mum, which is normally the case, it's really hard. It's like, you've got to show up at school in a certain way. You've got to look perfect. You've got to be bouncy. You've got to say hi to everyone. And some days you just don't feel like that. You can't forget anything for the children. Oh my God, if you forget that letter, or they go to school and they've only got one pencil, the whole world is just going to crash down around you. And it's just not the case. But I think as as mums, we do suffer a lot with that. I know I did quite a lot.
Yeah. And how would you say they break through that?
Okay, for me,
Mm-hmm.
the way I saw a quote one day, and it said, if you want to feel less judged, stop judging other people. And I was like,
Wow.
Okay. So now, and since that moment, actually, every time I see someone who's, struggling, who's maybe not in their best space, who, might be shouting, all worked up, whatever, I always try and look from, a compassionate point of view, like, oh my gosh, they must be having such a bad day, rather than, oh gosh, she should have put her coat on the right way, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, by stopping that judgment yourself, judgment is, it's a natural thing, but we can change that, and we can start to look from a place of compassion. And when you start to do that, you start to realise that actually everyone else is doing something very similar to you. Yeah. And that they're not out to judge you, and they're not out to criticise you or anything like that. We're all kind of, doing this life thing together, and we all want to be friends. So if we can stop judging other people, we'll feel a lot less judged too.
Yeah. Wow. About your kids, you have 5 children. That's incredible. It's incredible. What were some of the biggest lessons you learned with them?
Wow. Gosh, I have learned a few. One lesson I've learned is, life is not perfect. Mm-hmm. And the easiest way to go through life is to be much more relaxed. Don't sweat the small stuff. Now, if they're, 2 of them are squabbling or something, I can just walk away. I can just go, into my bedroom and take a few deep breaths, or I can even just giggle if it's really, insignificant. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing they've taught me, that, don't sweat the small stuff and make the most of every moment you can together.
That's beautiful. With women, they go through this process of decluttering, right? They declutter their rooms, their house. They create more space. Now, how do you recommend the self-care and rejuvenation, and making sure that women and moms and people in general stay in their optimal health and wellness and vitality?
Okay, so I'll suggest a few things. The first thing is really, connect with yourself in terms of know what you're happy with, know what your values are, and know what you're not happy with. And then, decide where your barriers are. What's the things that you're doing right now that's not serving you, that's stressing you out, doesn't bring anything good into your life, and start to say no. I think that is really, really powerful. And, saying no is not as bad as what we think it is. It's quite empowering for a start. But also, when you say no to someone, they don't necessarily react negatively. It's generally, oh, okay, she can't come over Wednesday or whatever. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. But having your boundaries there is so, so important.
I wanted to ask about boundaries. How does someone know what their boundaries are?
You have to listen to yourself, and to know where your boundaries are. It's the things that don't light you up, that make you miserable, that stress you out, perhaps even bring anxiety. If it's you're going to see someone and they're ultra negative, they're ultra critical, and you can feel yourself really kind of I don't want to do this, then just know you don't have to do it, and then don't do it. Just tell them nicely, and then don't do it.
Yep. It's that easy. It's that easy. And it's funny because a lot of people think that like, oh, they won't like me anymore. They'll give me a hard time, and I don't want to hurt them, and different things like that. And it's like, if we're constantly focusing on other people's emotions and their energy and experience, rather than making sure we're nurtured and nourished, and making sure we're maintaining our boundaries, then like we're gonna live an unfulfilled life. Because we first have to fill up our own cup. We first have to make sure that we are overflowing with love and joy and vitality to be able to give that energy and that great love to everyone around us. And I think moms tend to suffer the most from thinking that they have to go serve everyone else, and then they end up serving themselves and nourishing themselves last.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
As mums, we tend to put everybody else first, and that's like everybody in the universe first.
Right.
So very often, when it comes to like going to bed, for example, instead of having a relaxing time before winding down, having a drink, we're like, bam, we're in bed because we haven't got time for nothing. You end up kind of on this treadmill, and then you think, oh my gosh, I don't have time to paint my nails this week. I know I love it when I look fabulous, but I just don't have time. And then I don't have time to brush my hair today, so I'm just going to just shove it up. And I don't have time to look after me. And then before you know it, you've just forgot yourself. So one of the biggest things that I think all mums should do is at least have like 20 minutes to yourself every single day.
Yeah.
And if you can have more than that, great, but don't forget yourself. And the better you are in yourself, the more you give other people. And it's not necessarily about time, it's about quality.
Yeah.
You can give your children 24 hours of the day, every single day, but come to day 3, you're absolutely exhausted and they're not getting what they need from you at all. So you really need to be able to fill yourself up exactly as you said, Chris. You really have to be able to do that, and it's about kind of honouring yourself and having that self-love there, so you can really do that.
Yeah. I'm curious for you, Christine, have you found that women, I feel like moms tend to have a mission to serve their family and, protect the household and serve the household. And then like after the kids are gone, typically they're like, wait, what am I supposed to do now? How do I grow my mission? What am I really here for? Is there a way that women you can find like to help them tap into that purpose so that after their kids leave and they're quote unquote empty nesters, they can be happy and fulfilled and not feel like, oh, my purpose just left. What am I supposed to do now? How would you recommend that they facilitate that transition and make that easier on themselves?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think one of the important things to do is before they fly the nest, if you can, is kind of know what lights you up and be doing these things as well while you're a mum and while you're looking after everybody. But if you find yourself at that point where that they've flown the nest and you're like, oh, okay, so what shall I do? Just remember that's a beautiful time for you because one, you have brought up amazing independent children who are okay on their own, and you've done that. You've given them the strength, you've given them the tools, you've nurtured them, and you have given them the most amazing gift, which makes you the most amazing person. And now you have the gift of time, where you can really do anything that you want to do. So I would suggest going back to what we were talking about earlier about doing kind of, the free writing, the mind dump, the 101 things, as you said, Chris, write them all down. And then, decide what it is that really lights you up and just go and try it out. Take some steps, keep going, find what you love, and then go and do more of it.
Do you think, because you became a leader of women and of moms, do you think all moms are destined to become leaders? Do you think, why did you become a leader of moms and some other moms don't necessarily go out and lead their own groups? I'm curious your insight on that.
Good question. And I think we're all leaders. and we're all leaders in our own terms.
Yeah.
So I absolutely 100% believe that every single person has their own special, unique gift. Whether they know it or not, they have this unique, special gift that no one else can do, no one else in the entire world can do as well as them. And so once we've discovered this gift, we then grow that. And I think, you know, for me, coaching and connecting with other people and helping other people, that's my gift. That's where I get my flow. That's what lights me up. That's what I absolutely love. So in terms of like, you know, why am I doing it and not other mums? Probably because their gift is either undiscovered or completely different.
That's powerful. I love it. I love it. This is awesome. I want to get into like moms considering themselves a leader. I want to dial into that more. Okay, I want to dial into that more. We're at the 45-minute mark, so this is the Share Your Wisdom game. I want you to share your biggest takeaway from Christine and my interview so far. Share that in the comments, and for the person who's the winner, you'll get entered into a drawing to win a book, a free self-help book. So go ahead and write those comments right now. Make sure you register at beyourgps.com/book contest. And Christine, what does it take to be a leader? How do we really step into our leadership? How do we own that we're leaders? How do we remember and acknowledge and receive that power, especially these moms and women?
First off, if you want to be a leader, you need to be able to lead yourself. So you need to have that self-love there. You need to know what it is what you want, and know, you know, what it is that you want to become. Know where you are now, and then you need to go for it. I think to lead, that's what you need to do. You need to go for it, but you need to get aligned first. So you need to know what you're passionate about and what you enjoy, and just go and take steps.
How if they experience resistance or fear or blocks, how would you recommend they best overcome those?
All depends on the fear or the block.
Yeah.
For me, I've found so many times that fears have gone simply by just moving through them, just taking the action that I don't want to take. That really helps. Coaching helps massively as well, because our fears tend to be in our minds as opposed to reality. If we think about fear of, you know, spiders, particularly in the UK where, you know, they're not poisonous, and they are, you know, even the massive ones are really, really tiny. So, you know, having a coach or, you know, hypnotherapy, anything like that can help move those fears for you.
Yeah.
It's always worth a shot. And generally, resistance and fears, they come from our subconscious mind. So they come from, you know, learned behaviours from the past, and they come from past experiences. And when we understand that, and then, so understanding that, we can then get ourselves in the present moment. And once you're in the present moment, that fear will then start to evaporate, because you're in the moment now. And so because you're so present, your mind is not allowed to go back. So your mind can't, because you're in the present moment. So the fears start to go because they're all in the past. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's like getting present is like what's so, and when you're in the present moment, you could just take action. You either take action or you don't. You take action, you deal with the consequences, you deal with the results, whatever it might be. But if you're present, you're not worried about what might happen. And often I think the fears are the anticipation of something going wrong in the future. You know, you're looking to the future for something that might go wrong, and so that keeps people paralyzed or stuck or stopped. And so when they are in action, then they're not being stopped by their fears of what might happen, but they're just dealing with reality in the present moment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You're not worrying about the past, and you're not worrying about the future either. I think it was Eckhart Tolle in one of his books. He's amazing. But he talks about, you know, when we are living in the past in our minds, we end up feeling kind of, you know, depressed and down because we're rerunning old reels that we can't change. And then when we focus on the future too much, we end up with like anxiety and, you know, panic about, you know, what could go wrong.
Yeah.
But if we can center ourselves in the present moment, focus completely on what is going on in the here and now, then that alleviates it. So the more we can bring ourselves into the present moment, the more we're going to shift our fears, and the better we're going to feel as well.
Yeah, so amazing. I love it. I love it, Christine. So if we could like wrap this conversation up with the biggest takeaways, the biggest things you want these women and men out there to receive, to implement and take action on, what would you say is the big golden nugget, the big key takeaway?
Okay, so if anyone is watching this and they are feeling stressed, if they're feeling overwhelmed, if they're feeling stuck in life, the two things I want you to take away is, one, you are not on your own. This is not just you feeling this way. There are hundreds and thousands of people who feel this way at this moment, the same as you do. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. This is, it's just a feeling about where you are now. And the second thing I want you to know is you are incredible. You are amazing. You might not know it yet, but you absolutely are. Every single one of us has a superhero inside us, and you don't have to stay in this place. There is so much out there, and you can absolutely break through any barriers, stress, overwhelm, any of it. You can break through it.
That's right. You got a superhero in you, and you can break through any kind of BS, any kind of nonsense that you're coming up against. I love it. I love it, Christine. So let's talk about your vision. What are you most excited about this year, this upcoming year?
Okay. So this year, my thing, if you like, is 2019 is going to be my best year, without a doubt. So that is my whole focus for the year. So in my coaching program, that is the focus for everyone who's joined as well. One of the questions, are you committed to making 2019 your best year? So yes.
Yes,
that is it. That is my vision, and that is for every area of my life, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's speaking to fabulous people like you, Chris, whether it's playing outside in the garden with the children. Whatever it is, I want to make every single moment the best moment it can be, and get into that moment as much as possible.
Yeah. I love it, Christine. And getting this message out to more women and more moms who need to hear it, right? You're totally getting on more podcasts. You're getting into more speaking opportunities. You're more visible in the light more, because this is definitely needed in the world. So, Christine, our audience is loving this conversation. They want to know, how do they stay connected with you? What's their next step to take? Like, tell them what they can do.
Oh, okay. So, come and join our Facebook group, completely free. It's called Life Designing Ladies. Feel free to connect with me, send me messages. I absolutely love connecting with people. I'm all about friendship, which is awesome. I've made some incredible friends on this journey. So yeah, just feel free to get in touch, join our group.
Do it. Do it. Just do it. That's it. It's all you need to know. Just do it. I love it. And Christine, I had one more question for you. What would you say brings you the most joy in your life?
Oh, it's got to be my family. Yes, 100%.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it
Each
so
and
much.
every one of them, even my cats, even my grumpy cat, bites me. He even brings me joy.
I love it, Christine. Well, thank you so much for being on here today. And anyone listening or watching, definitely stay connected with Christine. Big things coming from her. And also, go declutter. Go get yourself into a peaceful, serene mindset and also environment, so that you can show up as your best self and make it your best year ever. And Christine, I appreciate you. Keep shining your light and sharing your love and your joy and having so much fun. You're a blast. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Loved every minute, Chris.
You're welcome. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, take care.
Awesome. Take care.